Back in 2019, the Apple Card was launched and it shook up the credit card industry with its no fees approach and making it easy for people to actually use credit properly. But now in 2026, lots of things have changed in the credit card world. So today I want to talk about how well this Apple Card is aged in comparison to other credit cards, and also talk about if it's worth getting in 2026. But first, let's unbox this thing. Now, surprisingly, for a credit card that has no annual fee, you actually get a box. Now, normally this comes in FedEx, but because this was a replacement card, they just shipped it priority, which is still nice. But yeah, let's get into it. So they have this, of course, in typical Apple fashion. They have this really satisfying pull tab here. Just take a listen to this. Ah, it's so satisfying. And by the way, original Apple Pencil. I got this at the gift shop at the Apple headquarters in like 2011. But yeah, as soon as we open this bad boy up, you see, please recycle this packaging. It's actually made of really solid cardboard. I must say, I'm really impressed with the quality of the packaging. Very Apple-like. But yeah, basically inside this cardboard sleeve is this cardboard insert. This feels like a cardboard envelope. There's no adhesive here, and if you just open it up, you could use this to send back your old Apple Card, but because it's metal, I don't think anybody's going to be doing that, so we can just punt that. But yeah, going back into the box itself, the actual Apple Card is falling into the box, is in this little white piece of cardboard that, if you open up very carefully, reveals your new Apple Card. But yeah, the card itself is actually made of titanium as they advertise it. If you wanted to give it a listen here, that's pretty solid. And this is what it sounds like against a Chase Sapphire Preferred. This is a partially metal, partially plastic card. And then the Apple Card. And then the all-elusive MX Platinum, which is made of metal, but honestly, I think this one sounds better and you can listen for yourself. Not bad, but the Apple Card, that's money right there. And here's just a little drop test for you. Here's the MX Platinum. Nothing special. Sapphire Preferred. Also even worse, the Apple Card. Oh, so satisfying. Now, the card itself isn't anything remarkable, honestly. It earns 3% back on Apple at these specific places, 2% when you use Apple Pay on your iPhone or any other Apple product, and 1% on everywhere else / if you actually pay using the titanium card. And honestly, that 2% isn't really that exciting to me, and I'll explain why later on. This card is really only for two types of people. Person one is someone that's financing something on the Apple Card because it not only gives you 0% interest, but it also pays you the cash back at 3% for whatever you're buying. So if you're buying something that's worth $1,000 on this card from Apple, you get $30 in cash back, whether you finance it or pay it outright. And if you know anything about store credit cards that offer financing, they never give you rewards for this. So honestly, that's a huge plus for the Apple Card. And the second type of person I'd recommend this card to is someone that's starting out in credit, because Apple makes it very easy and intuitive to make sure you're not paying interest, you're paying your card off on time and in full each month, which are good habits to set you up for other credit cards down the line. Now, besides those two camps of people, here's my take on this card, starting with what I like, which is on the app, it makes it very clear how much you need to pay to avoid interest, which unlike most credit cards, only show you the minimum payment and try to get you to fall behind and start accruing interest on your credit card. And when Apple says no fees ever, they're not joking. They don't charge late fees, they don't charge foreign transaction fees, and they don't charge an annual fee, which for a card made of metal is pretty impressive. And like I mentioned earlier, being able to finance your Apple purchases at 0% interest and also get your cash back is like getting your cake and eating it too in the credit card world, which is very rare. But with that all being said, there are quite a few things I think could be better about this card. Starting with the 1% with the physical card, which makes no sense. Because in today's market, there are many credit cards that earn a base of at least 1.5% like the Freedom Unlimited, or the 2% back on the double cash for using the physical card. Whereas with this, using the titanium card is worthless because you're only getting 1% back, which is the same across basically any other credit card. Another thing I found strange about this card is the 3% categories. Like Apple makes sense, 3% on an Apple Card, but everything else seems a little specific. Like Uber is probably the most useful thing I would get 3% out of, but the rest of them are kind of hit or miss for me. And a very small nitpick is it's a MasterCard, so this is a no-go at US Costco's. But yeah, overall, the Apple Card has a lot of points where it actually shines really well and goes above and beyond other credit cards in the industry, and a lot of points where it really falls short. Now, one big announcement that came out earlier in 2026 was that the Apple Card is actually moving away from Goldman Sachs and to JP Morgan Chase. Now, this change won't affect most people because literally the only thing that'll change is the card number, which means you'll have to get a new card when it finally moves over to Chase. But outside of that, you can literally apply for this card right now. They're even offering incentives that change throughout the year, and the Apple Card is still usable in its current form. But yeah, the Apple Card's not going to materially change at all. It's still going to be made out of this wonderful titanium. It's still going to earn the 321% cash back structure, and all else is going to be the same. And if you have an Apple Card right now, you won't need to reapply for it when it moves over to Chase. You can just keep your card. Now, why is Goldman trying to get rid of this credit card? Probably has something to do with the fact that they've lost over $3 billion on this. You see, Goldman wanted to get into the credit card game back in 2019, and they partnered with Apple to open this card. And as part of that agreement, Apple said, hey, hey, we want to give this credit card to as many people as we can, which turned out to backfire big time because the people that ended up getting it plus the timing led to a lot of people not being able to pay the card off and Goldman Sachs basically having to swallow the bill. So yeah, I do like that it's accessible to most people, but unfortunately that comes at a cost. And that cost being now going to Chase to get this card, which might make this a little bit more restrictive, but that's something we'll have to wait and see. So the question is it worth getting an Apple card in 2026? I'd say if you fit in the two camps I mentioned earlier, like someone financing an Apple product or if you're new to credit, it's a no-brainer. But honestly, with this card only being 2% on Apple Pay, I think this is a letdown. Now me personally, I've had this Apple card since 2020, and I used to use it heavily in the first 2 years of ownership, but then I got other credit cards that earned more points, like on dining, the Amex Gold earned 4 times the points, and this card became useless. So yeah, for me, I literally just use this on Apple Pay every once in a while just to keep the card active, or I might use it abroad whenever I'm traveling because of the no foreign transaction fees. So if you're starting out in credit and you want to get a similar credit card, I definitely recommend either Discover It or Chase Freedom Rise credit card because those cards are great for building your credit and they're relatively easy to get approved for. And yeah, I'll still keep this card and use it every once in a while, you know, just to keep it active. But like I said, it's not a daily spender for me and I don't think it's worth it for most people. But yeah, let me know your thoughts about the Apple card in the comments down below. Do you think the Apple card is going to change much even when it goes to Chase? Let me know. And if you want to learn more about the Apple card, I'll leave a link in the description. But yeah, thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe and I'll see you in the next video.